Okay, I have got to talk to you about this book that I just finished reading called ELLIOT by Robert Glazer. Now it says on the back, read in an hour or less. Maybe I'm a slow reader. It took me like an hour and 5 minutes. But anyway, it was a quick read, so I'll make this a quick video. If you want to find out what ELLIOT is around, stick around after this 15-second introductory video. Hi, I'm Elliot. This is Productivity Test Kitchen. I'm sitting in my daughter's play kitchen today to talk about ELLIOT by Robert Glazer. Glazer says there are 4 areas of life that we need to keep fulfilled and maintained, and he calls them capacities. And those are spiritual capacity, physical capacity, emotional capacity, and intellectual capacity. The spiritual capacity refers to yourself, your core values, your core purpose. You can also include religion in that if that influences who you are as an identity. He puts this first in the book because it is most important. He feels that you need to define and identify your values and your purpose because they will guide literally everything else in your life. Many people have core values, they just don't even know what they are. But once you can write them out and put them in front of you, and maybe erase it and refine it and figure out what really makes you tick, and then you can look at it. Look at it weekly. If you're doing a weekly review, look at it every week and say, how am I living those values? How am I living that purpose? And what am I going to do next? Maybe you've had times in your life where you didn't know what you're going to do next. You can look back at your purpose and go, okay, that's my ultimate goal. What's the next step to get there? What's something I'd like to do down the road? Maybe I want to go back to college so that I can further my goal of getting a better job so that I can afford a better home for my family. If that's your purpose, that's an easy way to guide yourself through life, is to have it written down, obvious in front of you. The next capacity is rather straightforward, and I really don't need to say anything else about it because you've all had this drilled into your head 1,000 times. It's the physical capacity. Maintaining your best physical self is tantamount, did I make that word up? Is really important to presenting it to others, and not in a superficial aesthetic way, but in your healthiest way. If you're not your healthiest, then you're not doing your best work. You're not capable of doing your best work. The next capacity is intellectual capacity, and that has to deal with what you know. What you know about your field, what you know about what you're trying to achieve, what you know about how to run your family and manage a household, how to manage your family and run a household. Words are hard. The next capacity in the book is intellectual capacity. And this one again is rather straightforward. It's about what you know. Do you know enough to do your job? Are you continually learning? Are you a continuous student? Because I'm sure we all know that if we take the knowledge we have and just sit on it for a while, eventually it'll go stale. As new technologies come out, as new practices come out, it's important to stay up to date. The next capacity is emotional capacity. And I'm going to let Robert define that for you. In the book, he says, your level of emotional capacity. Your what? Little ball? Behind the kitchen? The next capacity is emotional capacity. I'll let Robert define this from the book. Your level of emotional capacity is deeply connected with how you manage the little voice in your head, how you interact with others, and the quality of your relationships. So it's about your mindset, and it's about your interactions. Glazer says one important thing is to recognize your own self-limiting beliefs, which are the things that you've told yourself your entire life as sort of throwaway statements, and they actually firmly define your identity. And your identity defines what you do and who you are. Catch it? Can you go get it and throw it at me? Things you tell yourself like, I'm not a morning person. I can't survive without coffee. I've never been good at exercise. Oh, that just won't work for me. Catch! Oh! They may seem benign and innocuous on the surface, but if you start thinking of them in other ways, you can overcome them and you can change who you are and you can change how you act and behave. Now, Glazer says these 4 capacities are like 4 wheels of a car, that your tires roll best when all of them are inflated roughly equally. And if you let one get a little low, you can limp to the next service station maybe and get it filled up, but you need to patch those tires so that they're all working at their best. Another thing I want to talk about is that this book just feels really good. Like, don't judge a book by its cover, but this one is a good book because it's got a good cover. It's like raised and it feels nice and it lays flat. The pages are glossy. It's got lots of good artwork. The text is nice. The line spacing is nice. It makes for a very easy and quick read. They advertise read in an hour or less, and they've got a whole series on books in this format, one of which is called The Leadership Secrets of Hamilton. But then the most useful thing about this book is that it does serve as sort of a textbook, a primer and introduction into each of these concepts. And at the end of every chapter, it has action steps, little bullet points of what you can do now to find more information or to make a change in your life. So to wrap up, there's an old statement that says, it can be cheap, it can be good, it can be fast. You can pick two, but you can't have three. I think with Elevate, you actually can get all three. It's 10 bucks. 10 bucks is a hard deal to beat for any decent, modern, new, fresh hardcover book. 10 bucks, 2-day shipping, and it takes about an hour to read if you can sit down and devote time to read it. And all the information is good. So it's cheap, it's fast, it's good. Check out Elevate by Robert Glazer. He also has a podcast by the same name that delves into more specific topics and has some great guests on it. My name is Elliot. Thank you for watching the Productivity Test Kitchen. If this has been helpful, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. We got a whole series on books and media coming up. We're also going to touch on other productivity topics, parenthood, things like that. So thanks again. She's okay.